Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our January Big Fish Heads Lake podcast for Lake Oconee. I'm Capt Doug. Glad that you're watching today. Going to give you some information about what's going on in Oconee right now. And today is January 5th. This is the last week of our Georgia deer season. I think it ends on Sunday. And it's been good, but we're not going to talk about deer hunting. I'm going to tell you about fishing. We're going to start off basically with stripers. And the way that I could define our striper fishing is it is good, but not great yet. And I say yet because I've kept logs since I have been guiding for years. And there are logs, particular fishing trips that I've been on this time of the year that we go out and catch 30 and 40 and 50 fish in a half day. And for me, that has not happened yet. We've had some good days, 20, 25 fish, but you just kind of get the feeling that the stripers just hadn't gotten settled just yet. I tried to catch a bunch the other day, and I saw them in like 45, 50 feet down. And for Oconee, that's deep. And that's something that I really would just move on and not even try to do. But I did. I tried to catch some that deep and drop spoons down. And we caught a few. It's just, I don't know. It's just really weird that they have not just blowed up yet. There are seagulls on the lake, but I've not seen like 100, 200 in one place like I have in years past. Again, I think it has something to do with that Sinclair drawdown. It's some kind of voodoo that happens to our fish every 7 years? I think they do that. And it struggles to get back right. And I know it doesn't make any sense whatsoever that would even be an issue, because that's water down there that's going out, but it does. I'm finding there are a lot of white bass right now in front of Great Waters Boathouse. A lot of white bass. Not as many hybrids or stripers, but they could show up just any moment in there. You will see a few birds over there, so just kind of concentrate on the birds. Of course, my thing is I love dropping spoons to these fish, and that's kind of what I get my customers to do when we start off. Everybody on the boat's got a spoon rod in their hand. And when I find the fish, I'll get them to drop immediately. And every now and again, I will, in front of Great Waters, I'll put out 4 live bait lines. And sometimes it works really well. Sometimes they're on the live bait. But I'm telling you, it's weird. Like, you can go one day, and don't be alarmed if this happens. You can go one day and catch all your fish on live bait, and you can go the next day, it's already happened, the very next day, and they won't touch a live bait, and they're just going to eat spoons. So during this year, I pour out a lot of minnows, because we may pull in there and they start eating spoons, and I would way much rather catch them on a spoon rod because it's faster. Customers seem to enjoy it better instead of standing there and looking at a rod most of the day. But don't be surprised if you go there and you find that. Just be ready with both. Go with spoons and with live bait. And it probably wouldn't hurt to throw an A-rig in the boat, like a Cap Max Mini Mac, and troll it. Probably wouldn't hurt a bit to do that. And let me tell you what I think is going to happen. I believe with all my heart that it's coming. And that's not God talk. just, they've got to turn on. I know all those fish didn't get flushed down the river. They are there, but they just got to get ready. Now, last year was something interesting. Last year was the first time that I actually fished crankbaits with customers. Now, I know a lot of you watching, you do that every year in February and March. January, February, and March, you'll throw them crankbaits. Oh, Mr. Cone, he's been fishing here a lot longer than I have. That's his go-to thing, pulling those shad wraps. And he catches a lot of fish doing that. But last year's the first time I really invested some time and energy in doing it. And it was really good. And I'm going to tell you why I think we had such big numbers last year. We had incredible rain, and it's rained a lot here in the last few days. But the mud pushed everything down the lake. I don't know if you remember, but the only place on Lake Oconee last year, this time, that was not muddy was in the confluence of Richland Creek, where Richland and the Oconee meet. That water was clear, and there was a gajillion stripers and hybrids in there. You couldn't put out 4 crankbaits and make a loop and not catch 4 or 5 fish. It was, let me just tell you, it was a God's paradise, because the boat's moving. You're not messing with live bait. You're just pulling around, and everybody's hoisting on big fish. It was so much fun. It would to God that bite was year round. And a lot of us started doing it. A lot of other people started. And I have noticed that I've seen some guys down there in the same area again this year. And I've not heard about much luck. Now, I'm not Mr. Oconee by no means. There are a lot of things that go on this lake that I don't know about. A lot of people catch fish, and they never tell me. But I've not really heard or seen anyone catching stripers on crankbaits just yet. But the mud's coming. And up here where I live on the Appalachie, a raccoon could walk across it right now. And it's headed that way. I think I saw it really stained right at the 44 bridge. So if it keeps moving its way down, you know the stripers cannot stand the mud. They're going to stay ahead of it. So it's probably going to end up pushing them all down again to the south part of the lake. And we may have another one of those wonderful crankbait bites that will go right into February and March. I don't know. It'd be great. Richland Creek is really clear right now, and we've been catching fish over there. They're in front of the Ritz-Carlton where all that timber's at. We've worked that pretty good on the right side. There where the old rock house is, on the north side of the rock house, where the timber is not, it's kind of an open, there's a hump out there. And if you got a Lake Master, Humminbird Lake Master chip, you can find it. It's real easy. It just pops right out. We've been catching them at Rocky. We've been catching them at the confluence again of Richland. There's a few fish down there. And Pine Tree Point, great waters. And I saw really the only time I've seen this year, but coming back with some customers the other night, I was right in front of Long Shoals Ramp, and it's the most birds I have seen, and it was loaded with fish. The birds had that jiggy look. They're flying around, and didn't really see many diving. But I never caught a fish there, but the stripers were there. There's no doubt about it. We dropped spoons, couldn't get a bite. Put a live bait out, didn't get a bite. Again, it's like they're just not settled yet. So try all those places. And, you know, have your boat loaded up with stuff. You need to be able to throw a spoon, a swim bait, you know, trolling A-rig, use a lot. I know that's a lot of stuff to put on your boat, but you just never know what these crazy things are going to eat. The stripers that we've caught this year have been pretty good so far. I've not caught any 10 pounds yet. but we have boated a few 8s and several 7s and a bunch of 6s. So I know if any of you are watching this and you're on Lanier or something, you're like, well, that's just babies. Yeah, I know, but it's good schooling fish for Oconee. We're excited when we ever catch one in double digits. As far as the crappie goes, you know, I've got my pushing rods off the wall, and I've got them on my Phantom right now. And I've actually already pushed this year and have caught some nice crappie already, but not a lot. And I was a little disconcerted about it. I'd go out and I'd catch 10 or 12, but just not beating on them yet. And I look back on my logs, and I realized that it's in the month of January where through social media and different things, it can really look like we're killing them. Now, I know they're biting on Sinclair, and I know they're catching them on Blackshear, and I know Crescent's on fire, and Lop Looser or whatever. Everybody's bringing fish out of Florida. But on my logs, and I know I keep referring to that, but it's really all I got to go by. There's a lot of guys that fish the Appalachia up here. And on my logs, I have looked back, and I've seen where some of the old guys would go out, and they would catch, this time of year, 6, 7 in a day. Now, they're monsters. But 9, 10 maybe. What they would do is they would take them and put them like in a pen to hold them and clean them all at one time. But if you walk down to their house and they lifted that pen up, you've never seen a gaggle of crappie like that in your life. So it always gave us the impression that they were on fire up here. But that's really never the case as far as the push and bite goes up here. Needs to get into February, and we need about, this number could be right or wrong. It's either 11 hours of sunlight or 12 hours of sunlight. I've spoken to several biologists from the UGA and different places, and they say that the length of days really has a strong effect on crappie. And we're only like at 10 hours of sunlight, daylight now. And I'll tell you how you can know that. There's an app, it's the app that I use. I encourage all my guides to use it. I think that this app, and it's free, and you may have already have it, but I think this app like gives the best detailed information about when rain comes in here. I have booked trips around it, and 90% of the time they get it right. If it's Weather Channel, throw it away. It ain't no good. Get Weather Underground. And on the bottom, when that app comes up on your phone, and it's free, but you can literally, like, you can hit, I book trips 3 days out. Like if it's supposed to rain, let's just say, today is Tuesday. If it's supposed to rain on Thursday, I can look at that app and hit Thursday, and it will kind of tell you when the rain's going to be here. And I'm telling you, 90% of the time they get it right. So I have booked trips like right before or right after, and it's the one that I use, and I've got a lot of confidence in. But Weather Underground is the name of the app. Works for iPhone or Droid. And you go to the bottom of that app. Once you pull up the screen and you put Buckhead is the place that I use. Go to the bottom of that app, and it will have a lunar, it's not a chart, it's more like a pie chart. And it tells you about the moon phase, the next full, the next new. But it also, if you click on it, it would tell you the hours of daylight. And I think we're like at 10 hours today. So when that number goes, and you'll see it, it'll increase a couple minutes every day. When that number goes to like 11 hours, I think it is. I have to look back, but it's either 11 hours or 12 hours. When it hits that number, the fishing for crappie dramatically improves up here on the Oconee. Another little axiom that we use, and we're way ahead of it here, but just to throw it out while I'm talking about axioms and foolish knowledge, the old saying is whenever the dogwoods bloom is when the crappie are on the bank. But if you're here on the Appalachia, when we catch those big crappie, when the Bradford pairs are white hot, the fish are in the Appalachian, they're feeding. And just kind of make a mental note of that, because if you see, you know, they'll pop out first, I know, but if you see Bradford pairs starting to turn white, when they get white, blistering hot, the blooms on them, you need to be on the Appalachia fishing. That is when it's on. So I have started kind of pushing. I like pushing up on the river a lot here at the house up there, Appalachian, Oconee. But with all this rain, it's got everything muddied up. So, and right now, I'm probably going to have to wait a few days. So that's kind of what's happening as far as fishing goes. I mean, just think about if I've left anything out. From a pushing technique, I always use Jiffy Jigs, 1/2 ounce lead. I use these bobber stoppers to hold these sliding weights up. If you're at the Crappie seminar, last year, I actually brought one of the rods to tell you. But Sugar Creek Marina has everything that you need. They really do. And let me just say this about the guys there. The prices that William and Mike offer at Sugar Creek Marina, they beat Bass Pro Shop. And as you know, because of COVID, there has, like, you go to Bass Pro Shop, they don't have anything on the shelves. The last time I was in there, I was shocked. It looked like the zombie apocalypse had happened. But Sugar Creek Marina's got a lot of stuff. And if they can't get it, he will get it for, if they don't have it, I should say, they will get it for you. Really appreciate everything that those guys do. I mean, they keep such a, if they run out of bait, it's pretty much by accident. Sometimes when I do a podcast like this or something, or somebody else starts talking about it, they'll get a run on stuff and the bait guy can't stay ahead of it. And it probably happens 2 or 3 times a year. But I know William just talked to me just, I don't know, a couple of days ago, and he's like, is this minibite about to go off? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. I think we're real close to it. Well, he just orders a scale. You only got, your tanks are so big, you just can't really keep them bait in there forever because they will die. But he's got a lot of really nice bass shiners. Someone asked me a question the other day about kind of bouncing the striper fishing, about throwing the net. You can throw a net right now, and it might be better than bass shiners. I don't know, because of everything else that's crazy about fishing. But typically, all you need is bass shiners right now. And normally, on normal times, most of us guides, we're not even throwing our net till into March, April, something like that, you know. So go to Sugar Creek Marina. Get your stuff there. It's all like so, I don't know, there's a word for it, but it's lake specific. It's the things that we use. and we guides, we don't keep a lot of secret when it comes to our equipment. So if you ask William, well, what's Doug using, or what's Jody using, or you know what's Chad using, if you ask them, they'll tell you. And we certainly don't mind it. But the crappie fishing should be really, man, I'm hoping it's going to be really good, because the first ones that I caught this year when I first started pushing, they were outstanding. I guess it brings me up to my final point, which is the Derby, and I hope you don't turn me off here, but man, we're going to have a great time this year. It's already started. Here's the website, www.oconeederby.com. Yeah, we had to get its own website. I got to get some stuff moved off of my website and put on it, or maybe just take some stuff off. But the website's really nice. Several places you can click on it. You can front page, click registration. It'll tell you just what to do. We've got a Calcutta this year. That's an additional $50 to the registration. I can go into detail about all this, but all the rules and the information is right there on the website. Look at it, peruse it. Tell me what you think about it. We just opened registration January 1st, and someone asked me, why did I do that? And I'm going to give you the simple answer. I just don't want last year's stuff running into this year's stuff with taxes and things, and I don't have to pay taxes on it because it's a it's a derby, but it can get confusing because it's like, I believe last year we had like 52 guys in it, and so I didn't want this year's money to start in December and I have to. It don't take me long to figure up all my expenses and everything because I put everything on a credit card. So that's kind of why new derby, new year. Look at it. Look at the past champions. There's a lot of really cool things. We're all Yeti in our prizes this year. Kind of excited about that. But the main thing is going to be we're really cash heavy this go round. First place is going to be more than what a lot of these major bass tournament, or this is our Oconee bass tournaments, what they pay out. Just if we get the people that we just had last year. And I really don't see why we don't. But the main thing is it's just so much fun. The camaraderie is good. You're going to find, and I don't know if you want any friends or not, but you're going to meet guys and talk with guys that fish on this lake that's really going to be able to tell you more information about it. It is well worth the price of admission. If this COVID thing eases up, of course, in May, we will have our big champions cookout, and that is so much fun. That's when we'll award all the prizes. It's just I'm just trying to think of the things. It's and I don't want to be redundant because you can see most everything on the website. Do sign up. You don't even have to have a boat. I got a guy that's just signed up already, and he doesn't even own a boat. He's going to be fishing with a couple of guys, and he's got a lake house, and he's going to be fishing right off his dock. And I'm telling you, that's where you're going to catch him big crappie at. Jessie at Sugar Creek, she doesn't have a boat, and she said she's going to sign up because she's going to be fishing right there off the dock and get some big fish. So you will love it. Right now, I think we're at about $12,000 in prizes. I want to say thank you again to Sugar Creek Marina for hosting this for us as they have every year. This will be the 7th year we've done this, and they're just awesome. They've taken an incredible load off of me, and plus, not just them hosting it, but they also they sponsor prizes for the week, and I really appreciate it. For Pinnacle Credit Union, Tarsha Champion, and all the girls that work there at Pinnacle, I'm really impressed with the guys that was in the Derby last year because we brought business by them by them sponsoring the Derby. They actually made a couple of boat loans and had some more financial business that went on. So I'm really that was exciting. For Lake Country, Glass and Mirror, Justin Michael, he's a past champion, but he's like, dude, I'm in. And it's great. These sponsors are the one that will be offering all these nice prizes. Let me think about who else. Heather Ferris is in. This is her first year Exit Realty, and she's taken a week. Doug Cook is in it. He does we call them cook bucks. For the first place in each division, he gives $250 cash. To Striplin's General Store, just awesome. Awesome. And you're going to hear more about these guys in the weeks to come. They just do a really good job at, and I've already seen Jake out on the water, and so he's getting ready for the Derby, I know. And there's probably somebody, because I'm doing this without notes. There's probably somebody I missed, and I hope I haven't. There's 5 sponsors. So Sugar Creek, Pinnacle, Lake Country Glass, Exit Realty, and Cook Bucks. Maybe I got it all. Hey, if I didn't, I'll put a little note right here at the bottom of this screen that says, I'm sorry that I forgot you. Not, I didn't forget you. I just can't remember. So that's it. Join the Derby, www.oconeederby.com. Good luck out there for the month of January. I'll be making another podcast 1st of February. Things are really heating up right now as far as us looking forward to the year. Deer season's closing out, so that means we're probably going to start getting a lot more calls than we have now. I still hadn't tallied how many trips we done last year, but it was a lot of trips. Thank you to all of my clients who just made 2020 a hoot and a hound. Thanks for all the business. Thank you for all of you that are part of this. If I see you on the water, and I just want to say this because this really is important to me, if you need something, ask. Don't ever feel bad about pulling up and asking me questions. I know a lot of guides are not like that, but if you've ever watched me fish around other guides, you know we fish right beside each other. We're not that crazy, oh God, don't find my spot kind of people. If I say hello to you one day and you're in a boat, and I see you the next day and you're in the same boat or another boat, I might not remember who you are. Don't feel bad about telling me, hey, I'm Larry or whoever. I got in this business years ago because I really do enjoy being with people. I enjoy meeting people, and I really enjoy helping people fish and learn how to catch fish. I've loved it since I was a kid, and I just enjoy the spirit that we have on Lake Oconee. It's really cool. And, you know, and the Bible, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm saying this, I'm going to let you go. A lot of stuff going on right now in politics, and today is election day, and everybody's picking sides, and, you know, there's a lot of things that you feel a lot of tension in this country. I mean, don't you? A lot of anxiety, a lot of bitterness, a lot of disagreement. And sadly, I think, I was just on the phone with somebody just earlier. Sadly, I think the church, like the Church of America, has kind of fallen in to some of this stuff. And maybe Christianity is getting lost. Like, you really don't know whose side you're on. Let me tell you what Jesus said about this. He said, if you love one another, the world will know that I was sent. He didn't say if we go to a certain church or if we belong to a certain denomination. He said, by this the world will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. That's what he's called us to do. Be nice to everybody and love one another. I love you guys. Have a great January. I'll see you in February.